Hello, I'm here today with co-authors and editor from the book Leadership Coaching in China. And Tom Payne is the HR Senior Executive and Assessment Developer. I'm also pleased to have Dr. Jingyan Fan, Professor of Psychology at Auburn University in the US. These are two experts on the application and use of psychometric assessments used in selection and coaching. Both have considerable experience in the China market, working on selection and coaching projects for multinational companies as well as local companies. We were very fortunate to get their insights into our book, including how they see the use and application and psychometric assessments supporting the evidence-based coaching EBC approach. So Tom, good to have you here with us again. So let me start with you. Can you describe how the EBC approach has helped support the executive coaching approach? And how does this affect the choice of psychometric assessments in a coaching engagement? And what are the benefits of making the right choice of psychometric assessments?
Great questions, Marjorie. First, let me say that the quality of evidence used by the coach and the organization greatly affects the coachee's acceptance of the data, excuse me, presented to them during the coaching engagement. When I say evidence, I'm not talking about indisputable facts or something we present in a court of law. It's not something that we're accusing the coachee of. It is providing credible information that the coachee can relate to and understand, and relate to how they're perceived by their colleagues at work. More credible, the greater the acceptance of the information that's presented. So we use the Johari window model of information sharing to create more acceptance of the insights shared with the coachee. Not all information shared is easily accepted, but growth comes when the coachee sees what others see.
Sure.
They do not have to immediately accept others' perceptions, but understanding others' perceptions helps the coachee decide how they can respond, how they can communicate, how they can alter their behavior in certain situations to achieve their desired goals. This helps them develop self-awareness, which effective leaders need to develop to become credible and effective.
Absolutely. And thank you for your wealth of experience and knowledge in this area. So, and Dr. Fan, and also thank you for taking the time. I know you have been traveling and just returned and to be here. So can you describe the attributes of a high quality and useful personality assessments and how they are appropriately used in the process of providing feedback to the coachee, and especially in China and with Chinese executives?
Okay, first of all, it's my pleasure to be here and to be able to provide my opinion, my input. In response to your questions, I would say that for selection or coaching, the more modern scientific Big Five model personality assessment that measures traits rather than focusing on some more simplistic type instrument are the most reliable and valid. And I spoke for a number of times in other occasions. I point out that maybe 2 or 3 weaknesses of type-based personality assessment. Number one, they're based on very old theory. And number two, and they're too simplistic. If we have several billion people in the world. How can you imagine only 16 types will fit all people? And thirdly, there's no research evidence showing that personality scores based on type can predict reliably job performance. That's the three major reasons we should use trait-based personality assessment that based on Big Five model. That's the most dominant model in scientific psychology field.
Right.
And we will also recommend that personality test should include measures of response fidelity. And this is because the accuracy of a self-report measure hinges on the respondent and provide honest, unbiased responses, but that's a big assumption. And we know that on job applications and resumes, about 30% of candidates provide information is either overstated or false, aimed at enhancing their chance of being accepted. So in order for the coach and organization to use the output of a personality assessment, they should have some idea of how accurate the report is. So a good personality assessment tool should include some measures of response fidelity. That's my first major point.
Okay.
Let me go to the second one. And this is also something that people tend to miss. That is, people tend to choose test as only source of data. We think that's not a very wise way of doing things because there are many other data that the coaches can use. For instance, there are performance data, career development activities, and the coaches' work history with the organization. And so there may be even interviews with other managers and the executives who work closely with the coachee, as well as many organizations, as we know, they routinely do 360 surveys. Right. And these data are also very, very valuable. So our view is by sharing balanced perspective and data, the coaches gain more insight into what others know about them that they might not know. And also this gave coaches opportunities to share with the coach information that only they know about themselves. Coaches does not know. And this is exactly what we mean when we say that EBC is a very powerful and insightful when used as part of Johari window enlightenment. Right. And this allows the coachee to further develop their self-awareness. And this self-awareness takes on even greater significance in China, where the notion of saving face or ensuring that one does not lose respect from others is critically important to defining who the Chinese are as people. Right. So that's my second point.
Okay, that's it's a interesting insight, and oftentimes that's where we definitely need to take into consideration and not taking assessment tool as the only source of information.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Now, for both Tom and Dr. Fan, that can you please also share with us how and why personality assessments are used in the coaching engagement? Why is so important?
Right. Well, you know, as Dr. Fan said, the psychometric assessment is just one part of the evidence that is used by the coach during the coaching process. Right. To accept the information they may not know about themselves it can be extremely important and help them develop insights and self-awareness that otherwise would be impossible without feedback. This is particularly important in China, as feedback has to be balanced, trusted, and credible. If it's critical, that's a concern, and the coaching engagement will probably not be successful. Professional coaches need to know and understand the importance of relating a person's personality, predispositions to them, and showing them how they can choose other behaviors, knowing in appropriate situations what can be more effective. We're not talking about changing one's personality. People often make that assumption. We're not in the business of trying to change people's personalities. People's personalities tend to be rather static over time. However, with feedback and information, they can change their behaviors in certain situations to be more effective. And there's lots of management training that focuses on situational leadership, which is basically the same thing, which is saying, in this situation with this individual, this is how I choose to act. So having self-awareness helps an executive become much more effective, because feedback is not a one-size-fits-all situation. So again, I said, we're not talking about changing personality, but rather selecting from a menu of personal choices that people develop through feedback and self-awareness that they can use to achieve their desired results in working with others. This is not manipulation, but rather through self-awareness, being mindful of how to deal with situations. We're talking about developing competencies as leaders, not changing personality.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Fan.
Okay, I would say I would agree with Tom and add that executive coaching is even more necessary for new local leaders, as many are promoted faster than in Western, given the rapid growth of companies in this part of the world. I can personally attest that I've seen quite a few of young people in the early 30s. They start up the company, they become CEOs, they become very successful, become millionaires. So in a way, with the developed economic of China, Chinese companies tend to be ahead of the curve. That consequently, many young generation leaders are also ahead of the curve. In a way, that's sort of a curse in disguise, because they face a difficult time building the kind of self-awareness that allow them to make smart choices in what they say and do at the beginning of their increased responsibility assignment. So using personality assessments to provide data to the individual coach is step one. The coach's ability to discuss with the new executive that developing new or enhanced competencies will make them more effective. That's important. So EBC coaches will greatly aid executive development in China, and we're excited about our role in providing high quality, modern personality assessments that yield reliable and valid insights for the next generation of executive talent in China.
Excellent. Thank you very much, both Tom and Dr. Fan. And I think this is a perfect example. And this is where I like to acknowledge people like yourself that are scholars and practitioners. And in the earlier evolution of leadership and coaching in China in the last 20 years or so. And you all made important contribution to the current and future growth of leadership coaching in China. And many Chinese companies will be going global. That's even more important for the readers. So, and thank you to our viewers as well. So please look to our upcoming interviews of additional co-authors as they share their unique insights on this emerging area of leadership coaching in China. Now, the book is available on Amazon, both in print and Kindle. So check it out. And thank you again, Olive. Until next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.